Chapter 11. The people were as murmurers, speaking evil in the ears of the Lord. And when the Lord heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burned among them, and devoured in the uttermost part of the camp. The people cried to Moses, and Moses prayed to the Lord, and the fire abated. The name of that place was called Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burned among them. The mixed multitude that was among them lusted exceedingly, and the children of Israel also wept again, and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we ate in Egypt for nothing, the cucumbers and the melons, and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all save this manna to look on. The manna was like coriander seed, and the appearance of it as the appearance of bdellium. The people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in mortars, and boiled it in pots, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. When the dew fell on the camp in the night, the manna fell on it. Moses heard the people weeping throughout their families, every man at the door of his tent. And the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly, and Moses was displeased. Moses said to the Lord, Why have you dealt ill with your servant? And why haven't I found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all this people on me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I brought them forth that you should tell me, Carry them in your bosom, as a nursing father carries the sucking child, to the land which you swore to their fathers? Where should I have flesh to give all this people? For they weep to me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. If you deal thus with me, please kill me out of hand, if I have found favor in your sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. The Lord said to Moses, Gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take of the Spirit which is on you, and will put it on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you not bear it yourself alone. Say to the people, Sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh, for you have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, Who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt, therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but a whole month, until it comes out at your nostrils, and it becomes loathsome to you, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, Why did we come forth out of Egypt? Moses said, The people, among whom I am, are 600,000 footmen. And you have said, I will give them flesh, that they may eat a whole month. Shall flocks and herds be slain for them to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? The Lord said to Moses, Has the Lord's hand grown short? Now you shall see whether my word shall happen to you or not. Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tent. The Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took of the Spirit that was on him, and put it on the 70 elders. And it happened that when the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but they did so no more. But there remained 2 men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad, and the Spirit rested on them. And they were of those who were written, but had not gone out to the tent. And they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses, and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. Joshua the son of Nun, the minister of Moses, one of his chosen men, answered, My lord Moses, forbid them. Moses said to him, Are you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, that the Lord would put his Spirit on them. Moses got into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. There went forth a wind from the Lord, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, about a day's journey on this side, and a day's journey on the other side round about the camp, and about 2 cubits above the surface of the earth. The people rose up all that day and all that night, and all the next day, and gathered the quails. He who gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. while the flesh was yet between their teeth, before it was chewed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord struck the people with a very great plague. The name of that place was called Kibroth-Hattaavah, because there they buried the people who lusted. From Kibroth-Hattaavah the people traveled to Hazeroth, and they abode at Hazeroth. Chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman whom he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. They said, "Has the Lord indeed spoken only with Moses? Hasn't he spoken also with us?" The Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very humble, above all the men who were on the surface of the earth. The Lord spoke suddenly to Moses and to Aaron and to Miriam. "Come out, you three, to the tent of meeting." They three came out. The Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood at the door of the tent, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. He said, "Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I the Lord will make myself known to him in a vision. I will speak with him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so. He is faithful in all my house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even manifestly, and not in dark speeches. And the form of the Lord shall he see. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant, against Moses?" The anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. The cloud removed from over the tent, and behold, Miriam was leprous, as white as snow. And Aaron looked at Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Aaron said to Moses, "O my Lord, please don't lay sin on us. For that we have done foolishly, and for that we have sinned. Let her not, I pray, be as one of the dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he comes out of his mother's womb." Moses cried to the Lord, saying, "Heal her, Lord, I beseech you." The Lord said to Moses, "If her father had but spit in her face, shouldn't she be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut up outside of the camp 7 days, and after that she shall be brought in again." Miriam was shut up outside of the camp 7 days, and the people didn't travel until Miriam was brought in again. Afterward the people traveled from Hazeroth and encamped in the wilderness of Paran. Chapter 13. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Send men that they may spy out the land of Canaan, which I give to the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall you send a man, every one a prince among them." Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran, according to the commandment of the Lord, all of them men who were heads of the children of Israel. These were the names: of the tribe of Reuben, Shammua the son of Zachar; of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori; of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh; of the tribe of Issachar, Igal the son of Joseph; of the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea the son of Nun; of the tribe of Benjamin, Paltai the son of Raphu; of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodai; of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai the son of Susai; of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gemalli; of the tribe of Asher, Sethur the son of Michael; of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabai the son of Vopsi; of the tribe of Gad, Guel the son of Machai. These are the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. Moses called Hoshea the son of Nun, Joshua. Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, "Go up this way by the south, and go up into the hill country, and see the land what it is, and the people who dwell there, whether they are strong or weak, whether they are few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it is good or bad, and what cities there are that they dwell in, whether in camps or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it is fat or lean, whether there is wood in it or not. Be of good courage, and bring of the first fruit of the land." Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up, and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob, to the entrance of Hamath. They went up by the south, and came to Hebron, and Ahaman, Sheshai, and Talmai. The children of Anak were there. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. They came to the valley of Eshcol, and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes. and they bore it on a staff between two. They brought also of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the Valley of Eshcol, because of the cluster which the children of Israel cut down from there. They returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days. They went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel to the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. They told him and said, We came to the land where you sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very great. And moreover we saw the children of Anak there. Amalek dwells in the land of the south, and the Hittite, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite dwell in the hill country, and the Canaanite dwells by the sea, and along by the side of the Jordan. Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men who went up with him said, We aren't able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. They brought up an evil report of the land which they had spied out to the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to spy it out is a land that eats up the inhabitants of it, and all the people who we saw in it are men of great stature. There we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come of the Nephilim, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Chapter 14. All the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. All the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why does the Lord bring us to this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will be a prey. Wouldn't it be better for us to return to Egypt? They said one to another, Let's make a captain, and let us return to Egypt. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were of those who spied out the land, tore their clothes. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, The land which we passed through to spy it out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only don't rebel against the Lord, neither fear the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is removed from over them, and the Lord is with us. Don't fear them. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones. The glory of the Lord appeared in the tent of meeting to all the children of Israel. The Lord said to Moses, How long will this people despise me? And how long will they not believe in me for all the signs which I have worked among them? I will strike them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of you a nation greater and mightier than they. Moses said to the Lord, Then the Egyptians will hear it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land. They have heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of this people. For you, Lord, are seen face to face, and your cloud stands over them, and you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now if you shall kill this people as one man, then the nations which have heard of the fame of you will speak, saying, Because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore to them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. Now please let the power of the Lord be great, according as you have spoken, saying, The Lord is slow to anger, and abundant in loving kindness, forgiving iniquity and disobedience, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children, and on the third and on the fourth generation. Pardon, please, the iniquity of this people, according to the greatness of your loving kindness, and according as you have forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. The Lord said, I have pardoned according to your word, but in very deed as I live, and as all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, because all those men who have seen my glory and my signs, which I worked in Egypt and in the wilderness, yet have tempted me these 10 times and have not listened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swore to their fathers, neither shall any of those who despised me see it, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land into which he went, and his seed shall possess it. Now the Amalekite and the Canaanite dwell in the valley. Tomorrow turn and get into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, How long shall I bear with this evil congregation that murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel which they murmur against me. Tell them, As I live, says the Lord, surely as you have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. Your dead body shall fall in this wilderness, and all who were numbered of you, according to your whole number from 20 years old and upward, who have murmured against me, surely you shall not come into the land, concerning which I swore that I would make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua the son of Nun. But your little ones, that you said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have rejected. But as for you, your dead body shall fall in this wilderness. Your children shall be wanderers in the wilderness 40 years, and shall bear your prostitution, until your dead bodies be consumed in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which you spied out the land, even 40 days, for every day a year shall you bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and you shall know my alienation. I, the Lord, have spoken. Surely this will I do to all this evil congregation, who are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. The men whom Moses sent out to spy out the land, who returned, and made all the congregation to murmur against him, by bringing up an evil report against the land, even those men who did bring up an evil report of the land, died by the plague before the Lord. But Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, remained alive of those men who went to spy out the land. Moses told these words to all the children of Israel, and the people mourned greatly. They rose up early in the morning, and got them up to the top of the mountain, saying, Behold, we are here, and will go up to the place which the Lord has promised us, for we have sinned. Moses said, Why now do you disobey the commandment of the Lord, seeing it shall not prosper? Don't go up, for the Lord is in among you, that you not be struck down before your enemies. For there the Amalekite and the Canaanite are before you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you are turned back from following the Lord. Therefore the Lord will not be with you. But they presumed to go up to the top of the mountain. Nevertheless, the ark of the covenant of the Lord and Moses didn't depart out of the camp. Then the Amalekite came down, and the Canaanite who lived in that mountain, and struck them, and beat them down even to Hormah. Chapter 15. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them, When you are come into the land of your habitations which I give to you, and will make an offering by fire to the Lord, a burnt offering or a sacrifice, to accomplish a vow, or as a freewill offering, or in your set feast, to make a sweet savor to the Lord, of the herd or of the flock, then shall he who offers his offering offer to the Lord a meal offering of 1/10 part of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with the 4th part of a hin of oil, and wine for the drink offering, the 4th part of a hin, shall you prepare with the burnt offering, or for the sacrifice, for each lamb. Or for a ram you shall prepare a meal offering, 2/10 parts of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with the 3rd part of a hin of oil. And for the drink offering you shall offer the 3rd part of a hin of wine, of a sweet savor to the Lord. When you prepare a bull for a burnt offering, or for a sacrifice, to accomplish a vow, or for peace offerings to the Lord, then shall he offer with the bull a meal offering of 3/10 parts of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with half a hin of oil. And you shall offer for the drink offering half a hin of wine, for an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. Thus shall it be done for each bull, or for each ram, or for each of the he-lambs or of the kids. According to the number that you shall prepare, so shall you do to everyone according to their number. All who are homeborn shall do these things after this manner, in offering an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. If a stranger lives as a foreigner with you, or whoever may be among you throughout your generations, and will offer an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord as you do, so shall he do. For the assembly there shall be one statute for you, and for the stranger who lives as a foreigner with you, a statute forever throughout your generations. As you are, so shall the foreigner be before the Lord. One law and one ordinance shall be for you, and for the stranger who lives as a foreigner with you. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and tell them, When you come into the land where I bring you, then it shall be that when you eat of the bread of the land, you shall offer up a heave offering to the Lord. Of the first of your dough you shall offer up a cake for a heave offering. As the heave offering of the threshing floor, so shall you heave it. Of the first of your dough you shall give to the Lord a heave offering throughout your generations. When you shall err, and not observe all these commandments which the Lord has spoken to Moses, even all that the Lord has commanded you by Moses, from the day that the Lord gave commandment and onward throughout your generations, then it shall be, if it be done unwittingly, without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer one young bull for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor to the Lord, with the meal offering of it and the drink offering of it, according to the ordinance, and one male goat for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and they shall be forgiven, for it was an error. And they have brought their offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, and their sin offering before the Lord for their error. And all the congregation of the children of Israel shall be forgiven, and the stranger who lives as a foreigner among them, for in respect of all the people it was done unwittingly. If one person sin unwittingly, then he shall offer a female goat a year old for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for the soul who errs, when he sins unwittingly before the Lord, to make atonement for him, and he shall be forgiven. You shall have one law for him who does anything unwittingly, for him who is homeborn among the children of Israel, and for the stranger who lives as a foreigner among them. But the soul who does anything with a high hand, whether he is homeborn or a foreigner, the same blasphemes the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of the Lord, and has broken his commandment. That soul shall be utterly cut off, his iniquity shall be on him. While the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation. They put him in custody, because it had not been declared what should be done to him. The Lord said to Moses, The man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones outside of the camp. All the congregation brought him outside of the camp, and stoned him to death with stones, as the Lord commanded Moses. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them to make fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put on the fringe of each border a cord of blue. And it shall be to you for a fringe, that you may look on it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that you do not follow after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to play the prostitute, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Chapter 16. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses, with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the congregation, called to the assembly, men of renown. And they assembled themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said to them, You take too much on you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then lift yourselves up above the assembly of the Lord? When Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah and to all his company, saying, In the morning the Lord will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. Even him whom he shall choose he will cause to come near to him. This do, take censers, Korah, and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense on them, before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy. You take too much on you, you sons of Levi. Moses said to Korah, Hear now, you sons of Levi. It seems but a small thing to you, that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tent of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them. and that he has brought you near, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you, and you seek the priesthood also? Therefore you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord and Aaron. What is he that you should murmur against him? Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and they said, We won't come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, and that you must also make yourself a prince over us? Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We won't come up. Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, Don't respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, neither have I hurt one of them. Moses said to Korah, You and all your company go before the Lord, you and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer and put incense on them, and bring them before the Lord, every man his censer, 250 censers, you also and Aaron each his censer. They took every man his censer and put fire in them, and laid incense on them, and stood at the door of the tent of meeting with Moses and Aaron. Korah assembled all the congregation against them to the door of the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. They fell on their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will you be angry with all the congregation? The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation and say, Get away from around the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He spoke to the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got them up from the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood at the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little ones. Moses said, Hereby you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hasn't sent me. But if the Lord makes a new thing, and the ground opens its mouth, and swallows them up, with all that pertains to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall understand that these men have despised the Lord. It happened, as he made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground split apart that was under them, and that the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and all the men who pertained to Korah, and all their goods. So they, and all that belonged to them, went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed on them, and they perished from among the assembly. All Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up. Fire came forth from the Lord, and devoured the 250 men who offered the incense. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter the fire yonder, for they are holy, even the censers of these sinners against their own lives, and let them be made beaten plates for a covering of the altar. For they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers, which those who were burnt had offered, and they beat them out for a covering of the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, to the end that no stranger, who isn't of the seed of Aaron, comes near to burn incense before the Lord, that he not be as Korah, and as his company, as the Lord spoke to him by Moses. But on the next day, all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of the Lord. It happened, when the congregation was assembled against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Moses and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. They fell on their faces. Moses said to Aaron, Take your censer, and put fire on it from off the altar, and lay incense on it, and carry it quickly to the congregation, and make atonement for them, for there is wrath gone out from the Lord, the plague is begun. Aaron took as Moses spoke, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and behold, the plague had begun among the people. And he put on the incense and made atonement for the people. He stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. Now those who died by the plague were 14,700, besides those who died about the matter of Korah. Aaron returned to Moses to the door of the tent of meeting, and the plague was stopped. Chapter 17. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and take of them rods, one for each father's house, of all their princes according to their father's houses, 12 rods. Write every man's name on his rod. You shall write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, for there shall be 1 rod for each head of their father's houses. You shall lay them up in the tent of meeting before the testimony where I meet with you. It shall happen that the rod of the man whom I shall choose shall bud, and I will make to cease from me the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against you. Moses spoke to the children of Israel, and all their princes gave him rods, for each prince 1 according to their father's houses, even 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods. Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tent of the testimony. It happened on the next day that Moses went into the tent of the testimony, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and put forth buds, and produced blossoms, and bore ripe almonds. Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and took every man his rod. The Lord said to Moses, Put back the rod of Aaron before the testimony, to be kept for a token against the children of rebellion, that you may make an end of their murmurings against me, that they not die. Thus Moses did as the Lord commanded him. The children of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, Behold, we perish, we are undone, we are all undone. Everyone who comes near to the tent of the Lord dies. Shall we perish all of us? Chapter 18. The Lord said to Aaron, You and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. Your brothers also, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, bring near with you, that they may be joined to you and minister to you. But you and your sons shall be before the tent of the testimony. They shall keep your charge, and the charge of all the tent. Only they shall not come near to the vessels of the sanctuary and to the altar, that they not die, neither they nor you. They shall be joined to you, and keep the charge of the tent of meeting for all the service of the tent, and a stranger shall not come near to you. You shall keep the charge of the sanctuary and the charge of the altar, that there be wrath no more on the children of Israel. Behold, I have taken your brothers the Levites from among the children of Israel. To you they are a gift, given to the Lord to do the service of the tent of meeting. You and your sons with you shall keep your priesthood for everything of the altar, and for that within the veil, and you shall serve. I give you the priesthood as a service of gift, and the stranger who comes near shall be put to death. The Lord spoke to Aaron, Behold, I have given you the charge of my heave offerings, even all the holy things of the children of Israel. To you have I given them by reason of the anointing, and to your sons as a portion forever. This shall be yours of the most holy things, reserved from the fire. Every offering of theirs, even every meal offering of theirs, and every sin offering of theirs, and every trespass offering of theirs, which they shall render to me, shall be most holy for you and for your sons. As the most holy things shall you eat of it, every male shall eat of it, it shall be holy to you. This is yours, the heave offering of their gift, even all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them to you and to your sons and to your daughters with you, as a portion forever. Everyone who is clean in your house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, and all the best of the vintage and of the grain, the first fruits of them which they give to the Lord, to you have I given them. The first ripe fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, shall be yours. Every one who is clean in your house shall eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel shall be yours. Everything that opens the womb, of all flesh which they offer to the Lord, both of man and animal, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shall you surely redeem, and the firstborn of unclean animals shall you redeem. Those who are to be redeemed of them from a month old shall you redeem, according to your estimation, for the money of 5 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. The same is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of a cow, or the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood on the altar, and shall burn their fat for an offering made by fire, for a sweet savor to the Lord. The flesh of them shall be yours, as the way breast, and as the right thigh it shall be yours. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer to the Lord have I given you, and your sons and your daughters with you, as a portion forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord to you and to your seed with you. The Lord said to Aaron, You shall have no inheritance in their land, neither shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion, and your inheritance among the children of Israel. To the children of Levi, behold, I have given all the tithe in Israel for an inheritance, in return for their service which they serve, even the service of the tent of meeting. Henceforth the children of Israel shall not come near the tent of meeting, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall do the service of the tent of meeting, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, and among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithe of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites for an inheritance. Therefore I have said to them, Among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Moreover you shall speak to the Levites and tell them, When you take of the children of Israel the tithe which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it for the Lord, a tithe of the tithe. Your heave offering shall be reckoned to you, as though it were the grain of the threshing floor, and as the fullness of the winepress. Thus you also shall offer a heave offering to the Lord of all your tithes, which you receive of the children of Israel, and of it you shall give the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. Out of all your gifts you shall offer every heave offering of the Lord, of all the best of it, even the holy part of it out of it. Therefore you shall tell them, When you heave the best of it from it, then it shall be reckoned to the Levites as the increase of the threshing floor, and as the increase of the winepress. You shall eat it in every place, you and your households, for it is your reward in return for your service in the tent of meeting. You shall bear no sin by reason of it, when you have heaved from it the best of it, and you shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, that you not die. Chapter 19. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, This is the statute of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they bring you a red heifer without spot, in which is no blemish, and on which never came a yoke. You shall give her to Eleazar the priest, and he shall bring her forth outside of the camp, and one shall kill her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle her blood toward the front of the tent of meeting 7 times. One shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the evening. He who burns her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the evening. A man who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up outside of the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel, for a water for impurity. It is a sin offering. He who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. And it shall be to the children of Israel, and to the stranger who lives as a foreigner among them, for a statute forever. He who touches the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. The same shall purify himself therewith on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he doesn't purify himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whoever touches a dead person, the body of a man who has died, and doesn't purify himself, defiles the tent of the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water for impurity was not sprinkled on him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet on him. This is the law when a man dies in a tent. Everyone who comes into the tent, and everyone who is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. Every open vessel, which has no covering bound on it, is unclean. Whoever in the open field touches one who is slain with a sword, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. For the unclean they shall take of the ashes of the burning of the sin offering, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take hyssop, and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it on the tent, and on all the vessels, and on the persons who were there, and on him who touched the bone, or the slain, or the dead, or the grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle on the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall purify him, and he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at evening. But the man who shall be unclean, and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from the midst of the assembly, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water for impurity has not been sprinkled on him, he is unclean. It shall be a perpetual statute to them, and he who sprinkles the water for impurity shall wash his clothes, and he who touches the water for impurity shall be unclean until evening. Whatever the unclean person touches shall be unclean, and the soul that touches it shall be unclean until evening. Chapter 20. The children of Israel, even the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the 1st month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. There was no water for the congregation, and they assembled themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. The people strove with Moses and spoke, saying, Would that we had died when our brothers died before the Lord. Why have you brought the assembly of the Lord into this wilderness, that we should die there, we and our animals? Why have you made us to come up out of Egypt, to bring us into this evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of meeting, and fell on their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take the rod, and assemble the congregation, you and Aaron your brother, and speak to the rock before their eyes, that it give forth its water, and you shall bring forth to them water out of the rock. So you shall give the congregation and their cattle drink. Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly together before the rock, and he said to them, Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring you forth water out of this rock? Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock with his rod twice, and water came forth abundantly, and the congregation drank and their cattle. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Because you didn't believe in me, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. These are the waters of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. Thus says your brother Israel, You know all the travail that has happened to us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we lived in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians dealt ill with us and our fathers. And when we cried to the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of your border. Please let us pass through your land. We will not pass through field or through vineyard, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go along the king's highway. We will not turn aside to the right hand nor to the left, until we have passed your border. Edom said to him, You shall not pass through me, lest I come out with the sword against you. The children of Israel said to him, We will go up by the highway, and if we drink of your water, I and my cattle, then I will give the price of it. Let me only, without doing anything else, pass through on my feet. He said, You shall not pass through. Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, and Israel turned away from him. They traveled from Kadesh, and the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, came to Mount Hor. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor, by the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered to his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given to the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered to his people and shall die there. Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there on the top of the mountain, and Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. When all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they wept for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel.